Claire, I came to your presentation at IATEFL yesterday, and I have to say it's one of the most inspiring I have ever seen, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Could you just tell us a little bit about, you were talking about how to teach using TED Talks.
Yep, I was talking about using TED Talks in class because the reason that I wanted to do that presentation is because I was told about TED Talks by somebody, and I started using them in class and started talking to other teachers about it, who, many of whom said, heard about them, think they're wonderful, but I don't have any ideas for using them in class, other than doing, just writing a few questions for students to answer them. They couldn't think of anything sort of more to do with it, and certainly a lot of them, because the content of the TED Talks, is really inspirational for the most part, and using the content, not just the language and not just listening for what the speaker's saying, but also using the ideas that the speakers are giving and focusing on that. So
absolutely. The one I really loved that you showed in your presentation was the guy teaching you about a new way of tying your shoelaces, which he'd learned in a shoe shop, and what you did with your students after that was lovely. Could you tell us a little about that?
Absolutely. What we did, we focused on language. It's the video that you're talking about is Terry Moore, How to Tie Your Shoes, and it's a 3-minute TED Talk. It was the first one that was only 3 minutes long, so he got up and told us how to tie his shoelaces. So in class we focused on language for giving instructions and also checking that people understand your instructions. And we talked a little bit about teaching people to do things and demonstrating using repetition, and the type of language that would come up. Conditionals as, if you do this, this will happen, things like that. We talked about that. Then students watched Terry Moore tying his shoelaces, and the first time that they watched it through, they just sort of had a look at his body language, checking whether he repeated things and kind of what did he do. And then second time round we watched it and analysed with the tape script or transcript, analysed his language and the language that he used, as well as the structure of his presentation, sort of introducing it, teaching, demonstrating and repeating it. Okay. And from that, after we'd sort of analysed that language, the students' task was to go home and think about, they were going to do a 5-minute lesson the next day, which we filmed, and it could be on whatever they wanted, anything at all that they could teach us in 5 minutes. And I had students teach, a couple of them taught us different card tricks, and one of them taught us how to tie some climbing knots, and the one that video that I showed yesterday was a girl called Moon Young, who taught us how to fold a t-shirt.
That was extraordinary, yes.
It was brilliant.
It was brilliant. You looked at that and you thought, she's going to end up with a heap, and then suddenly she flicked her hands and there was a perfectly folded square t-shirt.
Absolutely, yeah. So, it was brilliant, and the thing that I really appreciated about that lesson and the results that we got from that lesson is it let you into what the students were interested in or wanted, things that they wanted to share with other students. And one example was a Japanese student who was kind of a bit sick of people pronouncing his name incorrectly and not stressing syllables which shouldn't have been stressed, and he went through the meaning of his name on the board, how to write it and draw it and how to pronounce it, and things like that, and it was brilliant. They were really just giving part of themselves, which using the language that we'd taken from Terry Moore, and it gave them really the opportunity to express themselves, which was brilliant.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. That's been very
problem.
interesting.
Thanks.